How to stay connected with family across generations. There was a time when every evening smelled like warm soup and sounded like laughter echoing from the kitchen. When family wasn't on a screen or behind a phone number, but right there in the next room. The table was full, the stories were long, and someone, usually grandma, always brought pie. Not the kind you order on an app, but the kind you could smell from the front porch. Now, things have changed. The soup comes in microwave boxes, the laughter comes through tiny speakers, and the pie, well, let's just say DoorDash can't deliver that kind of love. Our children are grown, our grandchildren are busy, and suddenly the world feels faster, louder, and sometimes lonelier. We find ourselves scrolling through old photos, smiling at memories, and wondering where time has gone. And when the phone rings with a video call from a grandchild, our hearts leap. But after we figure out which button to press, life is different now. But love doesn't change. So we ask ourselves, how do we stay close when the dinner table is quiet and the miles between us seem longer than ever? How do we keep the warmth of family alive when everything around us moves at the speed of a text message? This isn't about mastering the latest app or speaking fluent emoji. It's about something deeper, something timeless. Staying connected across generations isn't about keeping up. It's about reaching out. And today, we'll explore how. So make yourself a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's begin. Even if you still call it FaceTime as the thing that starts when I press that green button. The challenges of staying connected across generations. Let's be honest, staying connected with younger generations can feel like trying to learn a new language without a dictionary. And while the alphabet keeps changing, today's grandkids text in abbreviations we don't understand, dance in front of their phones for reasons we don't understand, and answer phone calls by accident. You ever call your grandson and hear him say, "Can't talk, Grandma. I'm in a Discord server." And you think, is that like a church group? Or is he fighting in a video game war? There are differences, big ones. We grew up writing letters. They grew up sending Snapchats that disappear in 10 seconds. We waited days to hear back from someone. They get annoyed if we don't reply in 5 minutes. And the worst part, autocorrect. One wrong tap, and suddenly instead of saying "love you, sweetie," you're texting "live you, sweaty." And then there's the technology itself. FaceTime, WhatsApp, TikTok, Zoom. It's like the whole world's been turned into a never-ending instruction manual. We just got used to voicemail, and now we're expected to react with heart emojis during video calls. But the hardest part isn't the technology. It's the silence, the missed birthdays, the feeling that everyone's moving on without us. They're busy, we tell ourselves. They've got school, work, kids of their own. We don't want to bother them. So we wait and wait. And sometimes we wonder if they've forgotten how much we still want to be a part of their lives. Not just for holidays, not just for photos on the mantle, but in the little moments, the everyday ones, the ones we used to share around the dinner table. But here's the good news. Staying connected isn't about catching up to them. It's about finding new ways to meet them where they are, with patience, with humor, and with a little bit of help. Even if that help comes from a 10-year-old who explains TikTok like he's teaching quantum physics. So yes, the world has changed, but the desire to stay close, that hasn't gone anywhere. Understanding generational mindsets. The first bridge. To build a bridge, you have to know what's on the other side. And when it comes to staying connected across generations, It's not just about technology. It's about understanding how each generation thinks, feels, and communicates. Let's start with the youngest ones, Gen Z and Gen Alpha. They were practically born with a screen in their hands. For them, life happens in quick bursts, 10-second videos, emojis instead of full sentences, and emotions expressed through memes. They don't pick up the phone to chat for an hour. They send you a photo of their lunch with a caption that says, "Vibe." It's not because they don't care. It's just, this is how they share now. Fast, visual, instant. So when your 12-year-old granddaughter sends you a selfie with bunny ears and no explanation, don't panic. She's saying, "Hi, I'm thinking of you," in her own modern, filter-covered way. Now let's talk about millennials, those in their 30s and 40s. They're in the thick of it. Careers, mortgages, parenting, trying to drink enough water and sleep at least 6 hours. They may not call as often as you wish, but don't mistake their silence for distance. These grown-up kids still deeply value their roots. They just live in a world that demands a lot from them, often all at once. They're the ones who tear up when they see an old family photo on Facebook. They're the ones who save your voicemail so they can hear your voice when they miss you. You may not hear from them every day, but when you do, you matter more than you know. And then there's us, the boomers. We grew up believing that love is shown in time spent, stories told, letters written by hand. We believe in sitting down to talk, not just texting. We believe in passing on recipes, values, and maybe a few stubborn habits. Our communication isn't fast, but it's deep, not flashy, but full of feeling. We're not always understood in this fast-paced world. But maybe, just maybe, if we take a moment to understand them, they'll take a moment to understand us too. That's the first bridge. Not a phone, not an app, but a choice. To be understood, first try to understand. And if that means learning what a meme is, or figuring out how to react to a message with a thumbs up, well, it's a small price to pay for love, connecting through technology. Easier than you think. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the rectangle in your hand with a glowing screen and way too many buttons. Yes, technology. It can feel overwhelming, confusing, like it was designed by a group of 12-year-olds who've never had arthritis. But here's the truth. It's not as scary as it seems, and you don't have to be a tech genius to use it. You just need one magic phrase. "Sweetheart, would you show me how to use this?" Seriously, that one question. It turns your grandchild into your teacher. And trust me, nothing makes a teenager feel cooler than showing Grandpa how to swipe, tap, and post. Let's start simple. FaceTime, that little green video icon on your phone. One tap, and suddenly you're face-to-face with your grandchild, no matter how many miles away they are. It's not the same as a hug, but when that smiling face pops up, your heart will swear it almost is. Zoom is another easy tool. Think of it like a virtual living room. Everyone joins, chats, waves, talks over each other, just like real family dinners. Only no one has to do the dishes. Then there are family group chats, those magical places where people send pictures of their meals, bad jokes, baby photos, and the occasional "who changed the Wi-Fi password?" You don't have to reply to everything. Just pop in now and then with a thumbs up or a "love you all." That's enough. You're present. You're part of the moment. And if smartphones still feel like too much, don't worry. There are tools made just for you. Grandpad is a tablet built for seniors. Big buttons, simple apps, easy video calls, and no confusing notifications. Even Facebook, yes, the thing the kids say is only for old people, is still a great way to see what your family's up to. Birthdays, photos, updates. You don't have to post anything. Just scroll, smile, and click heart. Remember, you're not trying to keep up with the kids. You're just finding new ways to stay close. It's not about being perfect with technology. It's about being willing to press the wrong button, willing to laugh when you accidentally turn on a filter and give yourself dog ears, willing to try because they're worth it. And here's the best part. When you ask for help, you're not bothering them, you're bonding with them. So the next time your phone makes a noise and you don't know why, don't sigh and toss it aside. Just smile, pick it up, and say, "Hey, would you show me how this works?" You'd be surprised how that one question can lead to a wonderful conversation, and maybe even a good laugh, real-life activities. When you're together, there's nothing quite like being together, in the same room, under the same roof, breathing the same warm air filled with the smell of something baking. Sure, video calls are great, but real-life moments, they're magic. That's when memories are made. And here's the good news. You don't need fancy plans or a big event to make those memories happen. You just need time, and maybe a little flour, a story, or a patch of dirt. Try cooking a family recipe together. The one with no written instructions, just a handful of this and a pinch of that. Let your grandkids roll the dough, lick the spoon, spill the sugar. That's part of the fun. Tell them where the recipe came from, who taught you, what it reminds you of. You're not just making a pie, you're passing down history, or sit together and tell stories. Not the kind in books, the kind that live in your memory. Like the time you and your cousin got stuck on the roof trying to rescue a cat. Or when your first car broke down in the middle of a date. They may roll their eyes and say, "Grandpa, you've told this one before." But trust me, they'll remember every word. Want to get creative? Try scrapbooking, gather photos, postcards, even ticket stubs. Let them help you glue, write captions, and decorate. It's a simple act, but it turns a quiet afternoon into a treasure chest. And here's a beautiful idea. Plant a memory tree. Go outside together, dig a hole, place the roots, cover it with soil. As that tree grows, so does your shared memory. Year after year, they'll see it and think of you. Maybe one day they'll bring their kids to sit under it too. Whatever you choose, keep one thing in mind. Create moments worth remembering, not for social media likes, but for the kind of stories that get told at future family dinners, the kind that live on in hearts, not just hard drives. And yes, take a photo or a little video, not to impress anyone, but so one day, when they miss you, they'll see your hands guiding theirs, hear your laughter again. And remember that love doesn't fade. So go ahead, teach them to weave a basket, even if it turns out a little lopsided, because years from now, they won't remember the shape, they'll remember the moment. Letters and journaling, slow but deep connections. Sometimes the most powerful way to connect is the slowest. A handwritten letter, ink on paper, your voice in your own words, without emojis, without filters, without autocorrect. In this fast-paced, blink and it's gone world, a letter feels like a pause, a deep breath, a warm hug delivered by mail. Imagine your grandchild opening an envelope one quiet morning, and inside, your handwriting. Not a text, not a notification, but something they can hold, keep, tuck into a book, something that grows more precious with time. Letters don't disappear, they linger. They whisper across years. Try writing a letter to the future. Start with, "Dear one, I may not always be there to walk beside you, but here's what I want you to know." Fill it with your blessings. A few lessons you learned the hard way. The story of how you met their grandparent. The joy of your first dance. The recipe for the soup you made when someone had a bad day. It doesn't have to be poetic, just honest. Real. You can even keep a journal. Write one page every week, like you're talking to them. Someday those pages will be a treasure chest of love and wisdom. Remember, a letter isn't just words, it's you, reaching out across time, across distance, saying, "You are loved, you belong, and a part of me is always with you." Creating new traditions for modern families. Traditions used to mean Sunday dinners, birthday parties, and holidays spent all under one roof. But today, families are spread out across cities, states, even continents. So how do we hold on to tradition when life keeps changing? We create new ones, simple ones. Ones that fit our world today, but carry the same love as the old ones. What if every Sunday, no matter where everyone is, you have a 15-minute family video call? No agenda, just faces, smiles, a few updates, and a lot of "I love yous." It's not about the length, it's about the ritual. Knowing that at 6 p.m., Grandma will be there with her cup of tea and that twinkle in her eye. Or start a monthly movie night on Zoom. You all press play at the same time, snacks in hand, then laugh and comment in the chat. It's like being on the couch together, just with a few hundred miles in between. You could even send out a family fun newsletter every month. Pictures, stories, even Grandma's joke of the month. Corny, of course, the best kind. The key is, it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be consistent. That's what tradition really is. Not the form, but the feeling. A heartbeat that says, "We're still here, we're still family." So go ahead, make a new tradition. Something small, something real, something they'll look forward to. And someday, something they'll carry on in your name. Final thoughts. Love lasts longer than Wi-Fi. Connection doesn't require fancy gadgets or expensive gifts. It doesn't need perfect timing or grand gestures. Sometimes all it takes is a simple message, a caring word, a "how are you" that comes from the heart. "I'm thinking of you," sent across the miles. When you choose to love on purpose, when you decide to reach out even when it's hard or inconvenient, distance becomes just a number. Miles shrink. Because love isn't about proximity. It's about intention. It's about showing up, even when it's easier not to. It's about making a call, writing a letter, sharing a moment. And when you do that, even 1,000 miles can't keep hearts apart. So, from our family to yours, cherish those connections. Nurture them. Because family isn't just who you're born to. It's who you choose to hold close. And that kind of love lasts longer than any Wi-Fi signal. Gentle call to action. This week, take a small step. Call a grandchild. Write a letter. Share a story. Build a new bridge of love. One word, one smile, one moment at a time. Because connection isn't just something that happens. It's something we choose. And today, you can choose to make love louder and hearts closer, no matter the distance.